Let me ask you something, how you ever expect to hit a target you can't even see? See, that's the problem with most folks. They wake up every day running around busy, but they ain't got no vision, no map, no plan, just drifting, hoping life's gonna drop a blessing in their lap like Amazon Prime. If you can't see it, you can't reach it. Let me tell you something real, because too many of us are walking through life blind and don't even know it. We got eyes, but we ain't got vision. And when you don't have vision, life will toss you anywhere it pleases. You'll end up in places you never wanted to be, doing things you were never called to do, living a life that was never meant for you. See, when God made you, He already had a picture in His mind of who you were supposed to become. He already had greatness written in your DNA. But here's the thing, if you can't see that pet picture, if you can't grab hold of that vision, you'll settle for less every single time. The enemy don't mind you being alive, he just don't want you to live with vision. Because vision is dangerous. Vision makes you unstoppable. Vision gives you the kind of courage that don't make sense to people. Think about it, every building you walk into, every car you drive, every piece of technology in your hand, it all started as vision. Somebody saw it before it existed. Somebody closed their eyes, pictured it, wrote it down, and refused to let it die. That's the power of vision. You can't reach a blessing you can't first imagine. You can't step into a future you haven't first seen in your spirit. And let me tell you, vision ain't just about careers and money and success. Vision is about knowing what God called you to be. Vision is about seeing yourself free from the chains that keep holding you down. Vision is about seeing your family healed, your children walking a better path, your future brighter than your past. If you don't see it, you won't chase it. And if you don't chase it, you'll never reach it. The Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. That's not just a nice line, it's truth. When you don't have vision, you're just existing. You're just going through the motions, living paycheck to paycheck, day to day, no purpose, no direction. And then you wonder why you feel empty inside. It's because your soul was designed to run on vision. Vision is fuel. Without it, you'll stall out. Now here's where faith comes in. Some of y'all got a little vision, but you're too scared to believe it. You see yourself doing better, attempt, but then you look at your bank account, you look at your circumstances, you look at what people said about you, and you shrink back. Stop doing that. If the vision came from God, it's bigger than your paycheck. It's bigger than your circumstances. It's bigger than what anybody thinks about you. God didn't ask for your RA Some when He gave you that vision. He already knew you weren't qualified. That's why He gave it to you, so His power could be shown through you. When you walk with vision, you start moving different. You stop wasting time on people who ain't going where you're going. You stop entertaining distractions because you know what you're reaching for. Vision sharpens your no. It strengthens your yes. It pulls you forward when life is trying to drag you backwards. I need you to understand something right now. Vision is not optional. If you want to reach destiny, if you want to fulfill purpose, if you want to step into everything God promised you, you got to see it first. You got to write it down. You got to speak it like it already exists. Because if you don't see yourself blessed, you'll stay broke. If you don't see yourself healed, you'll stay sick. If you don't see yourself rising, you'll stay stuck. Let me make it plain. Nobody ever climbed a mountain by accident. You don't just wake up at the top. You see it first. You prepare for it. You decide, that's where I'm going. And then every step, every stumble, every tear, every prayer, it's all pushing you toward that vision. Without it, you're just wandering. With it, you're unstoppable. And let me say this, you can't borrow somebody else's vision. You can't live your mama's dream, your daddy's plan, your friend's purpose. That's their picture. That's their calling. God gave you your own. And some of you are miserable right now because you're trying to fit into a vision that was never meant for you. That's why you don't feel peace. That's why you feel out of place. When you step into your vision, the one God gave you, you'll feel the difference. It may be hard, but it'll feel right. Vision is like spiritual eyesight. You don't need the whole map. You just need enough to take the next step. Stop waiting for the whole picture. Stop waiting until you know how it's all gonna work out. That's not faith. Faith is moving when you don't see the staircase. Faith is trusting the vision, even when the path looks impossible. If you can see it in your spirit, that's all you need to start walking toward it. If you can't see it, you can't reach it. The reason some of you haven't reached that next level is because you haven't even pictured yourself there. You talk yourself out of it before you even try. You convince yourself it's for somebody else, not for you. And every time you do that, you slam the door God was trying to open. Stop closing doors God opened. Start seeing yourself as who he said you are. Because here's the truth, God already gave you everything you need to reach the vision. You're not waiting on him, he's waiting on you. He's waiting on you to believe it, to see it, to move toward it. And when you do, heaven starts moving on your behalf. Doors swing open. Opportunities line up. People you don't even know will show up to help you. That's the power of vision. Writing your vision turns hope into direction. Let me explain this, because too many of us got hope but no plan. We sit around hoping life gets better, hoping money shows up, hoping doors open. But hope all by itself won't move you. Hope is like a dream. It feels good, but if you don't write it down and give it structure, it'll slip right through your fingers. See, hope is like wind. It can blow anywhere, anytime. But when you write it down, when you put pen to paper, you're building a sail. Attempt. That's when the wind of hope can actually push you somewhere. Without writing it, you're just drifting. You're just sitting in the middle of the ocean, talking about one day. And you know what happens to one day. It turns into never. The word says, write the vision and make it plain. Why does it say that? Attempt. Because when you write it, you're telling the universe, you're telling your spirit, you're telling heaven, this is where I'm going. Writing your vision is faith in action. It's you saying, I'm not just wishing, I'm planning. Attempt. I'm not just dreaming, I'm preparing. That's the difference between folks who get there and folks who don't. One group writes it, the other group just talks about it. Writing it forces you to be clear. You can't write down, I want to be successful, and leave it there, because success ain't plain. Success to who? Success in what? Writing it makes you define it. Maybe for you, success is starting that business, finishing that degree, paying off that debt, buying that home, changing your children's future. When you write it, you get specific. And when you get specific, you give your faith a target. Hope with no direction is dangerous because it feels like movement, but it ain't. It makes you feel good for a moment, but it doesn't change nothing. Attempt, writing your vision turns a feeling into a path. It's like going from someday to this day. You move from talking to walking. And let me tell you, heaven respects written vision. God honors when you get serious enough to write it down, because that means you're serious enough to believe it. Now let me get real with you. Some of you got visions in your head that you've been carrying for years. You lay in bed thinking about it. You daydream about it at work. You talk about it with your friends, but you never wrote it down. And because you never wrote it, it's still just a dream. Dreams with no ink are fragile. They fade. They disappear. But when you write it, it becomes something you can look at every day, pray over every day, fight for every day. I remember hearing somebody say, a short pencil is better than a long memory. Why? Because memory fades, but what you write will stay. That's why contracts are written. That's why vows are written. That's why laws are written. If man knows the power of writing, how much more does God know? If he said, write the vision, it's because he knows that what you write becomes permanent. It becomes a seed planted in the soil of your spirit. Writing your vision also holds you accountable. See, as long as it's in your head, you can play games with it. You can say, I'll get to it later, or maybe next year, and nobody will know. But when you write it, it stares back at you. It confronts you. It whispers, what are you doing today to move me forward? And that pressure is good because it keeps you from drifting back into comfort. Some of y'all are waiting for God to move, but he's waiting for you to write, because when you write it, you create partnership. You're saying, God, I'm ready for this blessing. I'm ready for this assignment. I'm ready to step into what you showed me. That's why it's not just motivation. It's obedience. Writing the vision is you obeying the command to make it plain. And when you obey, blessings flow. Writing your vision doesn't mean you got it all figured out. Tempt. Don't let the enemy fool you into thinking you can't write until you know every step. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need the first step. Write what you see, even if it's blurry. Write what you feel, even if it scares you. Write it, even if you don't know how in the world it's going to happen. Because once you write it, God can expand it. He can stretch it. He can breathe on it. But he can't bless what you won't bring into the light. And let me tell you, writing it down activates something inside of you. It flips a switch in your brain. Science even proves it. When you write something, your mind locks onto it stronger than if you just think it. That's why athletes visualize. That's why entrepreneurs journal. That's why leaders map things out. They know the power of writing vision. It makes your hope tangible. You can see it. You can touch it. You can return to it when doubt creeps in. Hope without writing is like shouting into the wind. But when you write it, it's like planting a flag. You're saying, this is my ground. This is my destiny. This is where I'm headed. And every time you look at that paper, it reignites the fire. Every time you read it out loud, it stirs up your faith. Every time you pray over it, you're watering the seed. Until one day, what was just ink on paper becomes reality in your life. So if you got a dream in your head, stop just talking about it. Stop just hoping and wishing. Take out a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write it. Write it like your life depends on it. Write it like you believe God is listening, because he is. Write it like you're preparing for the blessing to show up tomorrow. Because when you write it, you're not just dreaming anymore, you're building. And builders always see fruit. A vision without faith is just a wish. Let me break that down, because too many people got visions in their head, but no belief in their heart. And when you don't have faith, all you're really doing is wishing. Wishing is cheap. Wishing is weak. Wishing don't move mountains, faith does. Wishing don't open doors, faith does. Wishing don't wake you up at 5 a.m. to grind, faith does. You can have the most detailed vision board in the world. You can cut out pictures, stick them on the wall, write affirmations till your pen runs dry. But if you don't actually believe that God can and will bring it to pass, you just decorating. That's all it is, decoration. Faith is the engine that makes vision move. Without faith, vision is a car with no gas. Looks nice, but it ain't going nowhere. Now understand this, faith ain't easy. Attempt. Faith is scary. Faith will have you walking towards something that makes no sense at all. Faith will have you stepping out when the ground don't even look solid. Faith will have you believing in a version of yourself that you haven't even met yet. But that's the whole point. If you could see it clearly and do it on your own, you wouldn't need faith. God designed it so the vision he gives you is always bigger than what you can handle alone. That's why faith is necessary. And let me tell you something, faith is action. A lot of folks think faith is just sitting around praying, waiting, and hoping. No, faith is moving even when you don't see the whole plan. Faith is applying for the job you're not qualified for. Faith is starting the business with the little bit you got. Faith is writing the book when nobody knows your name. Faith is showing up when everything in your life is telling you to quit. That's faith. A vision without faith is like a seed without water. It's there, but it ain't growing. You can stare at it all you want. You can talk about it all you want. But until you pour some faith on it, nothing happens. Faith activates vision. Faith gives life to vision. Faith says, I don't care what it looks like right now. I believe what it can become. Now here's where people mess up. They confuse wishing with faith because they both sound the same on the surface. Wishing says, I hope one day I'll have a better life. Faith says, I will have a better life because God promised me, and I'm going to walk like it's already mine. Wishing is passive. Faith is aggressive. Wishing waits. Faith works. That's the difference. I know some of y'all are thinking, but I don't have big faith. Listen, you don't need big faith. The Bible says faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. You know how small a mustard seed is? It's tiny. But it's not about the size of your faith. It's about the size of the God your faith is in. If your faith is in him, it don't matter how small it looks. He can take that little faith and flip your whole life around. But don't get it twisted. Faith is tested. You will face seasons where the vision looks impossible, where the dream feels dead, where everybody around you says, just give it up. That's the testing ground. That's when God wants to know if your faith is real or just talk. See, a wish dies in the storm. Faith stands tall in the storm. A wish quits when it gets hard. Faith digs in deeper and says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That's the difference. You got to decide if your vision is built on faith or on wishing. Because if it's built on wishing, the first time life hits you, you're done. But if it's built on faith, nothing can stop you. You'll cry, but you'll keep going. You'll stumble, but you'll get back up. You'll fail, but you'll try again. Because faith don't quit. Faith don't fold. Faith don't back down. And let me drop this on you. Faith is not just believing in God, it's believing that God can do it through you. Some of you believe in him, attempt, but you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe you're worthy of the vision he gave you. But if he trusted you with it, that means you're the one for the job. Stop disqualifying yourself when heaven already qualified you. Stop telling yourself you can't when God already said you will. A vision without faith is just a wish. That's why so many people die with their dreams still in them. They had vision, but they never had the faith to act on it. Don't let that be you. Don't go to your grave full of wishes. Go to your grave empty, poured out, having lived every vision God placed inside you. Because faith says, I'm not leaving this earth until I've touched everything he promised me. You gotta walk like it's already yours. Talk like it's already yours. Pray like it's already yours. Move like it's already yours. That's faith. Faith don't wait until it sees the blessing to believe. It believes first, then the blessing shows up. And when it does, everybody who thought you were crazy will have to admit it was faith all along. Your vision attracts the resources you need. Let me tell you why this is so powerful, because some of you are sitting here thinking you don't have enough. Not enough money, not enough connections, not enough education, not enough time. You keep counting what you don't have, and that's why you feel stuck. But vision changes the equation. When you got vision, the resources you need start coming toward you. You don't chase them, they chase you. See, resources are drawn to vision like a magnet. People with money are looking for vision. Opportunities are looking for vision. Helpers, mentors, investors, they don't waste time on folks with no vision. Attempt. But the minute you get clear, the minute you can say out loud where you're going, the world starts rearranging itself to help you get there. Doors open, people show up, ideas flow. That's the power of vision. Now, don't get this twisted. Vision doesn't mean you'll wake up tomorrow with $1 million in your account. What it does mean is that when you move with vision, what you need will show up when you need it. That's how God works. He's not going to give you the whole warehouse before you even start. He'll give you seed, not harvest. He'll give you daily bread, not a lifetime supply at once. Because faith requires you to walk step by step, trusting that the next piece will be waiting for you when you get there. And here's the thing, resources don't respect wishes, they respect vision. Nobody invests in maybe, nobody supports someday. But when they see vision in your eyes, when they hear conviction in your voice, when they watch you work with passion and consistency, they lean in. They say, that's somebody I can back. That's somebody I can trust. Your vision makes room for you in places your some never could. Some of you are trying to chase resources, begging people to notice you, pleading for somebody to help you. Stop doing that. Don't chase, attract. And you attract by living and breathing your vision every day. You attract by being so serious about where you're going that people can't ignore you. Your work ethic, your consistency, your faith, it becomes a beacon. And when you shine like that, resources will find you. Think about it. Joseph in the Bible didn't go looking for Pharaoh. His vision brought him there. David didn't go chasing after the throne. His vision, his calling drew the opportunity to him. That's how God works. He lines things up when you walk in vision. And what you thought you didn't have, he supplies in ways you couldn't imagine. Let me make it practical. You might not have the money, but if you've got the vision, somebody with money will see it and join forces. You might not have the skill, but if you've got the vision, attempt. Somebody with the skill will show up and partner with you. You might not have the platform, but if you've got the vision, somebody with the platform will open their doors. Because vision speaks louder than credentials. Vision speaks louder than excuses. Vision is proof you're serious. But hear me, you don't attract resources by just talking about your vision. You attract by moving toward it. Motion activates provision. When God sees you stepping out, he releases what you need for the next step. If you're sitting still, waiting until you have everything in place, you'll never start. You've got to move with what you have and watch how the rest shows up along the way. And let me tell you something important. Resources aren't just money. Some of the greatest resources God will send you are people. The right friend, the right mentor, the right encourager, the right connector. Attempt. People who know somebody you don't know. People who've been where you're trying to go. People who can see in you what you can't even see in yourself. That's a resource, and they are drawn to vision. Your vision is also going to attract tests. Don't be surprised when the wrong people show up too. Opportunists and doubters, dream killers. That's part of it. But here's the difference. Real resources don't drain you. They fuel you. Real resources don't confuse you. They clarify you. Real resources don't slow you down. They accelerate you. When it's from God, you'll know because it will align with the vision he gave you. Tempt. And let me push you a little bit. You don't need as much as you think you do. The enemy wants you to believe you're disqualified because you don't have the whole package. But vision makes up the gap. Vision makes little look like plenty. Vision makes ordinary look extraordinary. That's why some people can start with almost nothing and build something the world can't ignore. Tempt. It wasn't about what they started with. It was about the vision they carried. When you hold on to your vision, you send a signal to heaven and to earth, I'm serious. And heaven responds with provision. Earth responds with alignment. It's like putting out a frequency and everything on that frequency starts tuning in. That's why you've got to protect your vision. Keep it strong. Keep it alive. Don't let doubt silence it. Don't let fear bury it. Because the clearer your vision, the stronger the pull of resources. I promise you this. If you stay faithful to the vision, attempt. What you need will find you. The right doors will swing open. The right people will call. The right breaks will happen. It won't be luck. It'll be alignment. It won't be coincidence. It'll be confirmation. Because resources are attracted to vision. Always have been, always will be. Faith and persistence will carry you when talent won't. Let me tell you something that the world doesn't like to admit. Talent is overrated. You can be the most gifted person in the room, but if you don't have the faith to believe in yourself and the persistence to keep going, that talent will rot unused. There are millions of people who are talented and never made it because talent alone does not open doors. What opens doors is faith that God put something in you for a reason and persistence that refuses to quit when the road gets hard. You see, talent is like a spark. Faith and persistence, that's the firewood and the oxygen. Without them, your spark dies out. You need faith to believe when nobody else does. You need faith to trust God's timing, even when it looks like you're behind. You need persistence to keep swinging, to keep knocking, to keep walking forward when it feels like nothing is working. That's what separates those who just have talent from those who change the world. Look at every great story you admire. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't easy. Behind every success you see, there's a trail of failures, setbacks, tears, and disappointments. But the people who got through had one thing in common. They kept showing up. They kept going by God. They didn't let no break them. They didn't let closed doors stop them. Faith told them, this vision is from God. Persistence told them, don't you dare quit. Now let me talk about faith. Faith isn't positive thinking. Faith isn't wishing. Faith is knowing deep in your spirit that God's promises are true. It's knowing he didn't bring you this far to leave you. It's knowing that if he gave you the dream, he's going to give you the strength, the resources, the connections, the opportunity to walk it out. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. That means before the check clears, you still believe. Before the door opens, you still walk toward it. Before anybody claps for you, you still keep going. And persistence, oh, that's the grind. That's the muscle. That's the part that separates the dreamers from the doers. Because let's be real, quitting is easy. Anybody can quit. But persistence is what builds character. Persistence is what makes you unstoppable. Every time you keep going after a setback, you're building spiritual muscle. Every time you push through the pain, you're proving to God and to yourself that you're serious. The truth is, talent will impress people, but persistence will inspire them. Talent will get you compliments, but persistence will get you results. And faith, that's what sustains you when persistence feels like it's not enough. Because there are going to be seasons where your persistence wears thin, where you're tired, where you're drained. That's when faith carries you. Faith whispers, keep going because I've got something on the other side. Let me make this plain. You might be sitting on a gift right now. You can sing or write or lead or build or teach or create. And maybe you've been overlooked. Maybe you've been ignored. Maybe you've been rejected. Tempt. Don't you dare think that means your talent isn't good enough. It just means you haven't walked far enough yet. Keep the faith. Stay persistent. Because talent doesn't make people unstoppable. Faith and persistence do. Think about it. Noah didn't build that ark because he was the best boat builder alive. He built it because he had faith in God's word and persistence to keep hammering when the world laughed at him. Moses didn't lead the people because of talent. He stuttered. He doubted he was flawed. But his faith and persistence made him a deliverer. Attempt. David didn't beat Goliath because of talent. He beat him because of faith. That's the same principle that will carry you. God doesn't need the most talented. He needs the most faithful. He needs the most persistent. Because those are the ones he can trust to finish what they start, to not give up when the blessing takes longer than expected, to not fold under pressure. Talent will fade, but faith endures. Talent will plateau, but persistence climbs higher. And let me tell you something about the enemy. He can't take your talent. He can't steal your gift. The only thing he can do is wear you down until you give up. That's why persistence is so important. Because every time you get back up, you rob the enemy of his victory. Every time you refuse to quit, you remind him that your destiny is not in his hands. Your destiny is in God's hands. Faith and persistence also keep you humble. Talent can make you arrogant. Talent can make you think you don't need God. But when you've had to grind, when you've had to pray, when you've had to fast, when you've had to cry yourself to sleep and wake up the next day and try again, that builds humility. That builds dependence on God. That's the kind of character that sustains blessings when they finally come. And here's the good news. Faith and persistence are not about where you start. You might not feel like you have the talent of somebody else. That doesn't matter. Because you can outlast talent with persistence. You can outshine talent with faith. That's why Scripture says the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. It's not about who starts with the most. It's about who refuses to quit. So I want you to get this in your spirit. Your talent is a gift, but it's not enough. What's going to carry you? What's going to sustain you? What's going to take you from vision to reality is faith and persistence. Faith that God is bigger than your obstacles. Persistence that refuses to stop until the promise becomes reality. That combination is unbeatable. That combination moves mountains. That combination shakes the earth. That combination gets heaven's attention. Faith and persistence will carry you when talent won't.